Hello and welcome to U.S. Cricket Now, the podcast covering all things Major League Cricket. I'm Peter Della, Penna, and with me is Aaman Patel.
Coming up, we take a look at the rain-shortened clash between TSK and the Washington Freedom, where the Texas Super Kings came on top with a 43-run win.
Oh, that's even better! Put an air hostess in the crew on this one! That is McMassive! Holy!
Then we'll look at the Seattle Orcas' impressive victory over those table toppers, the San Francisco Unicorns. And finally, we'll reveal our team of the tournament so far.
Don't forget to follow U.S. Cricket Now on Instagram, X, and TikTok. You can watch us on YouTube. Just search U.S. Cricket Now. Now, Aaman, there was an awful lot of action packed into 5 overs, so I didn't think we were going to get a game for the longest time tonight, and then magically we had an action-packed affair, and I got to give credit to the fans who stuck around for almost 3 hours worth of delay, and I think it's fair to say they got their money's worth with the performance that TSK in particular put on there.
Yeah, they got that and then some. 87 runs in 5 overs. The highest I think we were looking at was 96 is what I saw in the LPL, and to see 87 was ridiculous. And you know, to see how the way it started and then the way it finished was the most impressive thing. It started with a first ball or second ball duck for Marcus Stoinis, thanks to Sarab Nethavalkar. And then Daryl Mitchell couldn't get it off the square, really. And he gets strategically retired, 6 from 5. Not the first time we've seen this tournament. Maybe the first time we've seen it go right, because he gets strategically retired. And Shubham Ranjane, well, he gets in and he starts hitting the ball around all over the place, 39 off 14. Donovan Ferrer says, I don't need 14 balls. I'll do it in 9 and take 37 with 5 sixes. And some of them were just absolutely massive. I mean, he was special tonight, Peter.
411 strike rate, I think, says it all. 37 off 9 balls, 5 sixes out of the 9 balls he hit. I mean, he was just on fire. As Dan Patrick used to say on SportsCenter, Donovan Ferrer is en fuego. He was incredible out there. And the most remarkable thing for me, I think, looking back on tonight, is that innings, the way it started. Again, Marcus Stoinis out second ball, Daryl Mitchell, as you said, retired. And you look at the stats, 4 dot balls for Texas Super Kings, and one of them, Aaman, Shubham Ranjane left the ball alone the first ball. He faced coming at the ball. And when I saw that, I'm thinking to myself, Shubham, there's only 30 balls here. You got to make the most out of every one of them. What on earth are you doing leaving one of them alone? Well, obviously he knew what he was doing. It was all part of the plan, Aaman.
Yeah, I mean, he talked about it too in the mid-innings, how the wicket was just a bit sticky, and so he just wanted to get a little feel for it. When I think about Washington with the ball, I was really surprised not to have seen Arachan Ravindra go and have a bowl. I know he's more of a batting all-rounder now at this point in his career, but he's a good enough bowler for me to have gotten an opportunity against all right-handers, turn the ball away, use the grip in the surface, and for me, that was a bit of a tactical error on the part of the Freedom. We heard from Glenn Maxwell after the game. He said, the first couple of overs were great. He trusted his guys and he went for it, and you can't blame him for doing that. But I would have thrown maybe one over instead of to Jack Edwards to Arachan Ravindra just to have that one flavor of spin.
Along similar lines, but slightly different, I would have given it over to Ian Holland. Ian Holland has been so effective with those slower balls out of the back of the hand. He's technically speaking a pace bowler or seam bowler, but the majority of the deliveries he bowls are slower balls and just pace off the ball. I was taken aback by the fact that Holland did not get Jack Edwards over. Again, the rules are slightly different for people who may have been casually following the game with a reduced to 5 overs. You only need to bowl 3 bowlers. So Sarab Nethavalkar bowled 2, Mitchell Owen bowled 2. I think those were expected. That 5th over, who was it going to be given to complete the quota? And you would have given it to Ravindra. I would have given it to Ian Holland. They gave it to Jack Edwards. He gave up 17 runs. And TSK with a mighty impressive 87 for 2. And then Washington Freedom were really never in it in the chase.
Yeah, and again, it was a spin on that end that worked beautifully. Akil Hussein was brilliant, got hit for 6 and then 5 consecutive dot balls. Noor Ahmed looked unplayable as well. He got hit for a couple boundaries, but he mixes it up quite nicely and showed what the wicket was doing and what the wicket was going to do. We heard it from Glenn Maxwell as well. He said, "Yeah, we probably knew this wicket was going to turn," and they were upset that they weren't going to be able to repick the team. They felt that the toss shouldn't have happened if they knew the rain was going to come in, that the toss shouldn't have happened beforehand, so they knew how to pick their side based on the overs that were going to be left to play. So, to make of that what you will, but I still felt that the spin was always going to be a factor. You come here, you expect that to happen, and the Texas Super Kings took advantage of conditions.
That's match one. Match two in our recap from the start of this week's contest in Lauderhill. In case you've missed it, Seattle Orcas, my oh my, what a turnaround they've had. And we talked about all the players who are contenders for MVP so far in the first half of the season. We've brought up Finn Allen and Matthew Short and Mitchell Owen. Shimron Hetmeyer is saying, hold on a second. I'm throwing my name into the lot here. What's going on here with Shimron Hetmeyer, Aaman?
He's in this kind of purple patch where you just don't know where to bowl to him. It feels to me like Nicholas Puran back in 2023 in Major League when you just didn't know what to do. No matter where you bowled, he was going to hit you for 6. And, I remember standing there up top after my commentary stint and he's starting to get into his innings. And, a good friend of ours, Bobber Bike, says to me, there's no way he can do it a third time. I said, you never know, man. He's already done it twice. A third wouldn't be the most surprising thing ever. And sure enough, bang, bang, bang. And the remarkable thing about it is the lack of partners he's had alongside him. Heinrich Clausen only scores 5. Aaron Jones only scores 14. 7 for Jared Gotsia. It is a Shimron Hetmeyer show. And, you can look at the Orcas and you can think about, change a captain, change a coach. That's what's changed it. And maybe it has a bit. But to me, really, it feels like a one-man band, and that's been the most miraculous part about it for me, is that Hetmeyer's almost doing this by himself.
97 not out, 64 not out, 78 not out. The last 3 games for Seattle Orcas, all of them wins. When is he going to get out, Aaman?
It doesn't seem like anytime soon. I mean, if he's chasing, I don't think, teams have a really good opportunity against him. And the Orcas haven't lost a toss. They've won every single toss, chosen to do various different things. But, it felt like 168 was a good total on this track. And Hetmeyer, again, took the game away. Steven Taylor couldn't hit the ball. Kyle Mayers couldn't get near it. Sikandar Raza couldn't really score the boundary. It was tough going. Kareem Agul was taking wickets. It felt like the Unicorns were well ahead of the rate. And somehow the Orcas just willed their way back thanks to Hetmeyer. And this would, be, you talk about 0 to hero stories. They're on the brink of one. They were 0 from 10 going back to last season before they broke the streak with 11 and now 12 and 13. They're 3 on the bounce. And they've handed San Francisco, funnily enough, their second consecutive loss after starting 6-0 on the tournament.
And those results mean that we've got a 3-way tie at the top of the table. Unicorns, as you said, started off 6-0. Were the first team to clinch a playoff berth in MLC 2025. They're still stuck on 12 points. Meanwhile, the Super Kings, with their victory tonight, have caught up to them. They're on 12 points with a net run rate that is only marginally behind at the moment. Freedom also on 12 points, but their net run rate substantially behind both Super Kings and Unicorns. So they're on third in the table based on the net run rate tiebreaker. And then the Orcas, who just a week ago, we were wondering, are they ever going to win a game? They're buried at the bottom of the table. They've had that losing streak going back to last season. And then suddenly, with the management changes, 3 in a row, 6 points, 4 clear of MI New York and LA Knight Riders. Although MI New York and the Knight Riders both have a game in hand against the Orcas, so there's time for them to catch up. But will we see another 5-over contest? How many more of these 5-over contests will they be able to squeeze in if rain continues to play factors we expect it to in Florida? Or is there going to be a situation where we could have split points at some point over the course of the rest of the weekend that could put pressure on MI New York and LA Knight Riders?
Yeah, I think there's a great effort from the ground staff to get onto the field today. I don't think many people expected it. And I don't think the rain is done with us yet. It feels like the weekend coming into the week was almost worse off in terms of the radar than the week itself. And so, based on what we've just seen, that's not the greatest thing in the world. So, hopefully, we're not losing any more overs, but I wouldn't take it past anybody. And it was a talking point at the beginning of the season, right? Or the introduction of Lauderhill as a venue, having it as the last leg before the playoffs. It felt if you as a team didn't get off to a hot start, you could be in real trouble if you're searching for points in Lauderhill, and it seems to be proven to be true here.
And there you have it. That'll wrap up this week's action so far in MLC 2025.
Alrighty, now we thought since we're just past the midway stage, we're in the last leg of the tournament, we do something a little different. We're going to pick our team of the tournament so far. So the rules are as follows. You can only pick 3 players from one team, and Peter and I are picking 11 different players. So there's 22 names that'll get called here, and we cannot pick the same player. So, Peter, since you are not with us here in Florida, I'll let you go first to kick things off, just to be nice about it.
All right, Aaman. I am going to burn my first overall pick on Harris Ralph. I feel like there's not been a lot of great, fast bowling depth in this event, and Harris Ralph is head and shoulders above almost everybody in this tournament so far. He's been a really special player for the San Francisco Unicorns, 17 wickets at an average of 14.76. And if we're going by the rules that you can only pick 3 players from one team, I want Harris Ralph on my starting 11 ahead of anybody else from the Unicorns or anybody else in the league for that matter.
Fair dues there, Peter. Didn't think you were going that direction. I am going to take his Unicorns teammate. I'm going to go Matt Short. He's going to captain my side, and I think opening the batting, he's been absolutely beautiful for the Unicorns. He gets in player of the match after player of the match and 50 after 50. So give me Matt Short to kick off my team.
Next, if we're going to go strategically on this, you can only, again, get 3 players from one team. I have to take Shimon Hetmeyer because he's been on fire. He's just unstoppable at the moment, and you could make a case if the Orcas wind up making the playoffs, he could be a legitimate contender for MVP out of nowhere. He is now third in the table, 309 runs at an average of 103. He hasn't been dismissed in the 3 victories they've had. He's my pick for my second player in the squad. This is taking me back to almost like gym class dodgeball. I feel bad for the guy who's going to get picked 22nd.
I don't envy that individual. I'm gonna pick a boring pick, maybe the guy with the golden arm, Mitch Owen. Give me some bowling, give me some batting, and round out my opening pair over there with Matt Short. So I'll take a San Francisco and a Washington player to kick things off.
Now I'm gonna go next with somebody who sat out tonight, but I'm partial to him because I'm 40 and he's 40, and the things he's doing are making us old guys feel young again. Faf du Plessis, 2 centuries on the season for TSK, 317 runs, average of 52.83. What he's doing, not only with the bat, Aaman, but in the field, leading by example. Some of the catches he's taken, we saw the one catch at mid-off in Oakland Coliseum, arguably the catch of this tournament, maybe even the catch of all MLC across the last 3 years. I want Faf.
That's brilliant. I'm going to go with his Texas teammates, and he might not have the quantity of games as many guys this season. I'm going to go Akil Hussain. I think he's been absolutely brilliant, so difficult to pick, and I think as a spinner, he's right up there in the top of the league.
I think I need to go for a domestic player. We haven't picked anybody on the domestic side yet. I'm going to go with my man, Ian Holland. Again, pace bowling has been something at a premium. If you want to call Ian Holland a pace bowler, what he's been doing for the freedom with the slower balls and different phases of the game, I think it's been exceptional.
Yeah, I love that pick. I think if you hadn't picked him there, I probably would have taken him off of your hands. But I'll go with the reigning Bart King Award winner and take my second San Francisco Unicorn. I'll get Hassan Khan off the board. Bowling's a brilliant spin as well, so give me another spinner, and then with the bat, you know what you're going to get with him.
The Unicorns, they're starting to disappear off the board. So in that case, I'm going to have to go with Sanjay Krishnamurti. I can't ignore the guy from Northern California. He's been so pivotal for the Unicorns over the course of the season. He packs a big punch with his power in the middle order. 12 sixes, 154 runs at an average of 25.66. And when you don't have too many great domestic options, Sanjay Krishnamurti has been phenomenal for the Unicorns. Also in the field, I'm a big proponent of making sure you pick guys who can catch the ball. And Sanjay Krishnamurti has been phenomenal at not only catching, but also saving some would-be sixes to slap them back into the boundary.
Yeah, I love it. I'm going to go with a guy who might need to work with his running between the wickets, but what he does with the ball is what I'm after. I'm after Trent Bolt. For a MI New York team that has been struggling, he's been quite brilliant with the ball in hand, bowling up front, bowling in the back. You know what you're getting on a consistent basis, and I feel like he's probably, as far as MI New York goes, maybe with their best player.
I am going to go with Monarch Patel, somebody else on MI New York, and somebody else who's stood out on the domestic side. The USA captain, he's fifth in the league in runs, 293 runs at an average of 41.85, one of the few bright spots, not only for MI New York, but amongst the domestic batting options across the board. He's top of the list when you look at the domestic players, and MI New York needs him to continue stepping up if they're going to make the playoffs.
I feel like I need to start getting down the order here and picking some other guys, and I can't believe this guy is actually still on the board. I'm going to go Glenn Maxwell. Captain the Washington Freedom, and take my second Freedom guy here. Has 100 in the league, knows what he can do, can bowl a little bit of off spin if we need it. Having two left arm spinners, I feel like he rounds the team out pretty well.
I'm loving the fact that we're doing this blind because you're picking guys who I would never have in my team. I'm not having any players picked and poached from my group I'm on. I'm so happy about this. I'm having flashbacks to fantasy football where somebody else takes a player. I'm like, that guy's still alive for me. The guy who's still alive for me. The player of the match tonight, Donovan Ferreira. 37 off 9 balls. He's been incredible. And I need him. I need that Super Kings magic in my squad. Donovan Ferreira, come right this way.
Yeah, well, I know that we're getting to kind of the tail end of the number of overseas players we got. We have to go 6 and 5. And I've already got 5 overseas on the board, so I've got to go in a domestic direction. And here's where I'm torn. And I know he hasn't had the greatest of years this season, but I'm going to go with Saurabh Netravalkar. I still trust in his ability to bowl. I know it hasn't been his year, but I still think that his first over today was quite brilliant, and I think he can bowl well in spot.
I'm going to keep going the domestic route. I'm also going to keep going the TSK route. Shubham Ranjani, who teamed up with Donovan Ferreira tonight. Shubham Ranjani, the last couple games for TSK, you understand why, out of all the players that TSK had at their disposal, that he was sent in at number 3. 39 not out. A couple matches ago, 70 in a win over LA Knight Riders. He's been a standout on the domestic scene for some time, and he's now finally showing everybody else around the world why he's been a very valuable component on the domestic scene in the U.S.
Big fan there. I'm going to go – I can't believe he's still on the board. I'm going to go Quinton de Kock. I don't have a keeper on the team yet, and he's going to keep wicket for me. I think I'll probably slide Mitch Owen to 1 down and then let QDK open the batting with Matt Short to give me a lefty-righty combination.
Now, I am going to take Harmeet Singh. Again, in a domestic player pool, he's been a leader, quiet leader for Seattle Orcas, leading the team in wickets with 9 on the season. He's somebody who's flown under the radar a little bit for the Orcas, but he's part of the reason why they've been able to hang in there. 7.12 economy rate, average of 19, 9 wickets in 8 games. I think he's been a consistent performer, one of the few consistent performers among the domestic players across all 3 seasons of the league, and he's a reason why the Orcas are in position to maybe claim that last playoff berth, Aaman.
Yeah, it was a good shout there. For me, I feel like I have the bowling option. I've got 3 seamers. I've got 3 spinners. And I'm going to go with some lower order batting. Give me Calvin Savage from the Texas Super Kings, another one of these domestic standouts, has a player of the match back in Oakland and can hit the ball a very long way. So give me Calvin Savage to get down and low in my order.
Well, Aaman, I think some people who are watching and listening to this might be shocked that he's hung around this long after the way he started off the season with a bang. Finn Allen, still on the board. Finn, come on down. You're the next contestant on U.S. Cricket Now. Pick your starting 11. Finn Allen, 328 runs at an average of 46.85 and that incredible century to start off MLC 2025 at Oakland Coliseum. I want you at the top of the order alongside Faf du Plessis.
Great shout. Really great shouts. Now what's killing me here is there's a guy I want to go for, but I can't. I've already burned through my Washington picks. So I'm out of guys to go in for in Washington. So I have to go in a different direction. And I haven't taken an LAKR man. It's just which one do I go with? And I reckon I give myself a Shadley Venskovic. Another pace bowling option. Quietly's had a decent season with the off cutters, and I like to have that extra bowling option. Also, with the bat, is not a bad left-hander to have down the order.
All right, I'm on my last pick. I need to balance out my squad. I've stacked my batting. I'm very content with that. My bowling, my pace bowling, I need to make sure that's shored up in particular. And I'll take somebody who has quietly had a decent campaign, and I think he's got a lot more in store for the remainder of the group stage to help his side get in. He's a death bowling specialist in particular. Naveen Ul-Haq. We need to give some Afghans some love on this show. We haven't given enough love to the Afghan players in these squads. Get an Afghan in there. Naveen Ul-Haq, 8 wickets in 5 matches at an average of 24, 9.93. Somebody who's known for his changes of pace, his variations. Naveen, get in there. I want you in my 11 to round out my squad.
Here, I feel like I've got enough in the bowling department. Got 4 seam options, couple of 3 spin options, and just want the extra bat could be real nice here. Give me the Jinder Singh, and I'll slot him in right ahead of Hassan Khan at 5 and let him bat there. And coming off the highest domestic score, I feel like you got to give him some love. And we've seen the big hitting ability. Go in, play with a free mind, and give me Hassan. Then Hassan Khan comes in at 6, and I think that balances out the team pretty nicely.
So first it was Glenn Maxwell snubbing Obis Pinar in Oakland Coliseum, not giving him the strike when Maxwell was on his way to a century. And now it's both of us. Obis getting shafted here in the draft of MLC players in our respective starting 11s. Poor Obis. There's still time, Obis. Maybe by the end of the season we'll have come to regret leaving you out. I'm sure you'll have no shortage of opportunities to make us feel that way because Obis is such a quality player. But that's how competitive MLC has been this year. Even Obis can't make either one of our 11s with the restrictions on domestic players and overseas players. So to recap, Aaman, I have got Faf du Plessis, Finn Allen at the top of the order. I've got Monak Patel coming in at number 3. I've got Sanjay Krishnamurthy. I'm going to put him in at number 4. And then I've got Shimron Hetmeyer, Shubham Ranjani, Donovan Ferreira to come in and whack the ball to death. And then in terms of my bowling options at 8, 9, 10, and 11, I've got Harris Ralph, Ian Holland, Harmeet Singh, and Naveen Ul-Haq. I'm pretty happy with my 11, Aaman.
That's a good team. It's a good team here. It'd be tough to beat. For me, I've got Matt Short opening the batting with Quinton de Kock. I've got Mitch Owen at 1 down. Then Max would have come in at 4. The Jinder Singh slots in at 5, followed by the big hits of Hassan Khan and Calvin Savage at 6 and 7. And then my 8, 9, 10, 11. I still get some batting with Akil Hussain and Shadley Venskovic, both of whom give me something with a bat. But then Hussain, obviously, with the ball, gives me that left arm spin. Shadley, a little bit of pace. And then I got 2 left arm seamers to close, and Trent Bolt and Saurabh Netravalkar.
All right, there you have it, folks. Let us know. Who's got the better 11? Give us a shout. uscricketnow@gmail.com. We'd love to hear your feedback on the next episode.
Well, don't forget to subscribe, follow us, and rate us on Apple and Spotify. And if you want to get in touch, drop us an email at uscricketnow@gmail.com.
U.S. Cricket Now is a Viral Tribe Entertainment and Square Cut production. We'll be back at the end of the weekend to round up all the action over the final 7 games in the group stage following the final clash of the group stage between LA Knight Riders and San Francisco Unicorns, a California Dreaming clash in South Florida, Aaman. Until then, that's it for this episode of U.S. Cricket Now. We'll see you next time.